Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP today. Tensions ran high at the Misano Grand Prix when Marc Márquez faced booing from sections of the crowd. But in a surprising turn, Ducati's top brass, including champion rider Pecco Bagnaia, came to his defense. Let's explore what led to the incident and how Ducati responded. MotoGP fans are buzzing as Marc Márquez adapts to life on a Ducati, preparing for a bigger role in 2025. Despite only recently joining the Gresini team, Márquez is already making waves, winning back-to-back races. Former rival Andrea Dovizioso shared his thoughts on Márquez's progress and what it means for the future. Let's dive into the story. Yamaha is cautiously optimistic after recent improvements in their bike development during the Misano MotoGP test. The team has struggled throughout the season, but a recent test of new parts has given them a much-needed boost. Let's dive into the details. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. The history of Marc Márquez and the Italian fanbase is complicated. Many fans have held a grudge against the Catalan rider ever since the dramatic events of the 2015 MotoGP season, which some argue cost Valentino Rossi his chance at a 10th world title. That resentment has lingered, with Márquez often met with hostility when racing in Italy. But this time, the boos were louder than usual, erupting at the Misano Grand Prix after Márquez's name was announced during the podium celebrations. Márquez had just secured a significant victory at a track considered a home ground for Ducati stars like Bagnaia and Bastianini. This particular incident might have been fueled by a controversy that took place just before the Misano GP. Pecco Bagnaia had made heated comments after an incident involving Marc's brother, Alex Márquez, at the Aragon GP, accusing him of deliberately causing a crash. While Bagnaia later apologized for his remarks, it appears the tension carried over to the Misano race weekend. Bagnaia, however, did his best to calm the situation, urging fans not to boo his fellow rider. Ducati's team leaders, including general manager Gigi Dall'Igna and team manager Davide Tardozzi, also disapproved of the booing. "I do not like the whistles at a rider on the podium at all." Quote from Gigi Dall'Igna. After the race, Ducati team managers were quick to praise Marc Márquez and emphasize the respect he deserves. Tardozzi, in particular, highlighted Márquez's incredible accomplishments and dismissed any negative sentiment towards him. "An 8-time champion has won today. He is not a villain, he is an incredible rider, and we have made a big bet on him for next year. We will have a great team. Anyone who thinks Marc cannot compete for the title doesn't understand motorcycles." Quote from Davide Tardozzi. Tardozzi's remarks signaled Ducati's firm belief in Márquez's abilities and their confidence in his potential to bring more success to the team in the future. This comes after a series of strong performances by Márquez, who has now won 2 races in a row, suggesting a return to form after years of struggling with injuries. If he's not already the Marc Márquez of old, he's on the right path to being so again. Let the best win, as always. Quote from Gigi Dall'Igna. With Márquez set to join Ducati's Gresini team next season, there's a lot of excitement about what the future holds. Despite the crowd's mixed feelings, Ducati's leadership is firmly behind him. The Misano Grand Prix may have stirred up old rivalries, but the message from Ducati is clear: respect the riders, regardless of past rivalries, as they put their lives on the line in every race. As Ducati prepares for the 2025 season with Marc Márquez on board, the team has made it clear that he is an integral part of their future plans. With their backing, Márquez is poised for a new chapter in his MotoGP career, one that may silence the critics and bring more victories to the iconic number 93. The message from Ducati's leadership is simple: Marc Márquez is here to win, and he deserves respect. Marc Márquez's move to Ducati has been one of the most talked about transitions in MotoGP. This season, his focus has been on adapting to the GP23 Ducati after a challenging few years with Honda. The transition seemed slow at first, but by the 12th round at Aragon, Márquez found his groove, dominating the entire weekend and securing his first victory with Ducati. A week later, he followed up with another win at Misano, raising hopes that Márquez could challenge for the championship title. However, he remains 53 points behind leader Jorge Martin, with time running out. Andrea Dovizioso, who had fierce battles with Márquez during his time with Ducati, weighed in on the current situation. Speaking to Sky, Dovizioso offered a unique insight into what Márquez might be prioritizing this season. "I think Márquez realized that this year, he couldn't realistically fight for the championship. He's using this time as preparation for next year, learning how to approach everything from practice to qualifying and the race itself." Quote from Andrea Dovizioso. Dovizioso believes that Márquez isn't yet at 100%, but he's using every opportunity to gain experience on a bike that's very different from what he's used to. As Márquez gears up for a move to the official Ducati factory team in 2025, these races are vital for his development. Despite his recent success, Dovizioso pointed out that the Márquez we're seeing now isn't the full version of the 8-time world champion. He's still adapting to the GP23 bike, a machine that is slightly different from the GP24S being ridden by championship leaders like Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin. "It takes time to get fully comfortable with a new bike, especially in a completely different team. Marc is still building that feeling, but he's making the most of it," Dovi said. Next season, Márquez will ride the same bike as Bagnaia, putting him in a much stronger position to compete for wins and, potentially, the championship. For now, he's focused on gaining the maximum experience with the machinery he has. Looking ahead to 2025, Marc Márquez will make the switch to Ducati's official factory team, partnering with reigning champion Pecco Bagnaia. This move will give Márquez access to equal machinery and a more powerful bike, setting up what could be one of the most exciting duels in MotoGP history. For the remainder of this season, Márquez faces an uphill battle trying to close the gap to Martin and Bagnaia, both of whom have been incredibly consistent on their GP24 bikes. However, his recent wins at Aragon and Misano suggest that he's not out of the championship race just yet. Martin and Bagnaia are making the most of their bikes, and that's tough for Márquez to compete with. But he's taking a more measured approach now, unlike in the past when he was always on the attack, Dovi concluded. As Marc Márquez continues to adapt to Ducati, all eyes are on the upcoming races. Can Márquez mount a late-season comeback, or is he already looking ahead to 2025, when he'll be on equal footing with Bagnaia? Whatever happens, it's clear that the story of Márquez and Ducati is just beginning, and MotoGP fans are in for an exciting future. Yamaha has been working hard behind the scenes to improve their performance, and the recent test at Misano provided a glimpse of hope. The team tested a new chassis, which had already been used during the San Marino sprint race, as well as a prototype engine that is set to form the base for the 2025 season. The new engine, ridden by Alex Rins during the test, made a significant impact. Rins managed to shave off an impressive 0.5 to 0.7 seconds from his race pace, a clear indicator of the engine's potential. Team manager Massimo Marigali was cautiously optimistic about the improvements. "Even if I try to manage my emotions, we see that we are slightly improving. From the beginning of the season, we have really worked hard, and these small improvements, which are noticeable, give us a reward." Quote from Massimo Marigali. Yamaha's test plan was not extensive, but it allowed them to focus on key areas of improvement. The team has already evaluated several components, including a third version of their aerodynamics package. These changes, Marigali said, have contributed to a slight but promising uptick in their performance. One of the key developments was the new chassis, which allowed Yamaha to start their race at Misano with a stronger setup. This gave them a new approach to race preparation, and it paid off with small but significant gains on track. These little improvements that we can see and touch give us an additional boost. Yamaha's journey of development isn't over yet. The team plans to continue testing new components, with Andrea Dovizioso stepping in for injured test rider Cal Crutchlow. Dovizioso will be back in action during testing at Jerez in November, where more progress is expected. Looking ahead, Yamaha is planning a major change for 2027, with reports indicating that they will ditch their signature inline-4 engine in favor of AV4, in line with the upcoming MotoGP regulations. This shift could signal a new era for the Japanese manufacturer, who has struggled to keep pace with rivals using more powerful V4 engines. For the first time in a while, there are smiles in the Yamaha garage. Fabio Quartararo's performance at the San Marino Grand Prix gave the team a much-needed morale boost. Quartararo finished 7th in the race and qualified 10th, showing that the team's efforts are starting to pay off. While Yamaha is still far from the podium, these small victories provide hope for the future. The team's improved pace and ongoing development efforts have given them a reason to believe that better days are ahead. Yamaha's recent test at Misano has sparked a ray of hope for the team. With the introduction of new parts and the prospect of switching to AV4 engine in the future, Yamaha is working hard to return to its winning ways. As the season continues, all eyes will be on the team's progress and whether they can turn these small improvements into significant results on the track.